Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to So That Just Happened, a podcast for those who have lost their person and want to find themselves. I'm Carly Cooper, a single mom, widow, coach, author, and chronic truth seeker. My superpower is finding the funny, the hope, and the silver lining in any shit situation. This podcast is for the purpose of education only and is not a replacement for therapy. If you need additional support, please seek out a trained professional for help with your specific situation. Let's get to it, shall we? Welcome back to another episode of So That Just Happened. Today we're unpacking a topic that's got more baggage than a cross-country move: abandonment. It's that sneaky word that messes with your head. And if you've ever felt like you're not getting the love you wished upon a star for, well, buckle up. You're in for a ride. Abandonment is like a stealthy ninja silently sneaking into your life. And abandonment isn't just about those big traumas. It's those small, soul-crushing moments too. Remember that awkward feeling at the end of the school day, standing solo in the parking lot, waiting to be picked up? Or the middle school friendship betrayals? Or were you ever told to pipe down because you're too much? Yeah, those moments leave a mark. And it's no wonder we end up as people pleasers and decision-making zombies. Seeking love and validation outside of ourselves becomes this wild goose chase, leading us to do things we're not proud of just for a crumb of attention, even the negative kind. It's like we forget what's best for us and how to make good decisions, and it's all in the name of making everyone else feel happy. So let's chat about jobs and relationships, shall we? Ever been stuck in a soul-sucking job telling yourself it's loyalty when, to be honest, it's just the devil you know? Been there and took the Imodium. I endured a corporate job that felt like a daily serving of misery cranked up to 11 for about 5 years. Why? Because I was stuck in this ridiculous belief that I, in my very junior, low-paying role, was as vital as oxygen in a smoky bingo hall. So I chose the daily drama of panic attacks and anxiety instead of taking a gamble on myself to carve out a better path. And relationships? We've all been there, hanging on to something and someone, not because it's right, but because the thought of being alone sends shivers down our spine. So I want to drop a truth bomb on you. Everybody's replaceable. And as time rolls on, people adjust. They move forward and they find new paths. So if you're sticking around, do it because you genuinely want to. Not because you feel like you owe it to anybody else or you want to make them feel better or spare them from any pain or heartache. So I want to unravel the mystery of how to heal from abandonment. It starts with an honest look at ourselves, admitting where we've been letting ourselves down or off the hook. Maybe you're avoiding commitment or numbing the pain with some unhealthy habits. Or maybe you're taking on too much and your life is a perpetual episode of busyness and distractions. On the flip side, some people dodge responsibility like it's hot lava. They're like, commitment? No thanks. And they ghost the moment things get real. Spoiler alert, that often leads to loneliness and a lot of cats. As a highly sensitive empath and life coach, I used to be the ultimate helper and fixer. But I was letting other people's energy, feelings, and drama become my own. And the result? I felt irritated, angry, resentful, exhausted, and drained. Basically, I had a constant emotional hangover. I could have easily blamed this on my widow status. And sure, it played a big part in the way I was feeling. But the real truth is, I was abandoning myself. So then I learned this amazing concept called setting boundaries. Boundaries are like the superheroes of self-preservation, keeping the drama queens and energy vampires at bay. Setting healthy boundaries becomes as crucial as that first jolt of caffeine in the morning. It's about acknowledging that you can't play savior and fix everyone's problems. It's their life, their choices, and their journey, even if their choices make you cringe. Your only job is to decide how and if you want to be part of their journey. But I get it. This lesson took me some time to sink in, and it's still something that I have to constantly remind myself of. But hey, it's progress, not perfection, right? Setting boundaries is not about being their rescuer. It's about saving yourself. But let's get real. If you've got abandonment as a wound, getting deep, being vulnerable, and forming intimate connections might feel like doing the polar bear dip in January. Bone chilling and uncomfortable as fuck. The fear of showing up as your authentic, flawed, and imperfect self can make you want to disappear faster than your weekend plans when it starts raining. Thank you, person from our past, for making us feel like we weren't good enough. Really appreciate that. So, what's our go-to move? We often end up sabotaging or making a hasty exit at the first whiff of seriousness. It's like we'd rather be the one leaving than risk the pain of being left. This fear of rejection can throw a wrench into your ability to commit or give your heart fully, leaving you feel like an emotional acrobat, mentally, emotionally, and physically unstable. And the biggest mistake people with abandonment issues make? They're looking for safety and security outside themselves, in people, in material possessions, in virtual likes, shares, and followers. But it's just a false sense of security. So here's the reality check. It will never be enough until you roll up your sleeves and do the work to heal this wound. It has to come from within. And this goes back to all the stories that we created based on our past experiences. But we can flip those narratives. Healing involves looking inward, understanding your patterns, and above all, showing love and compassion to yourself in the process. So once I realized all of this, I started laying down the law. I used my voice. I stood up for myself, and I told people what I needed. And it was liberating. So whether it's in relationships or a job or your health and well-being, having your own back is a game changer. So I want to share an example of this, a story. Last spring, I found myself grappling with almost daily aura migraines, the kind that you start seeing the zigzaggy flashing lights to one side. And then once that goes away, the pain of the migraine hits. So they're fun and debilitating. And you're basically terrified to make a plan because what if it happens when you drive? Or what if it happens when you're out somewhere? And anyway, they're brutal. So this was happening to me almost on the daily. And initially, as I typically do, I explored many natural remedies. And I was also at the time doing an intense phase of energy clearing and energy healing. So there was a lot of shifting going on. And so my gut really led me to believe that these migraines were playing tag with the shifting weather patterns and the barometric pressure that was happening in the spring and the energy clearing and shifting and me releasing all these things. So that's really what I intuitively believed was happening. But of course, you can't Google that shit because it's just weird and it's not popular and there's no real clear evidence of that. So, I am somebody who likes to dot my I's and cross my T's. So I also paid a visit to my doctor. And no surprises, she's a staunch advocate of Western medicine. So to be fair, she, like many other physicians, they're not an expert on alternative or holistic health approaches or practices, which, by the way, that's more my cup of herbal tea. So I'm not blaming her for the recommendations that she gave me, but the plot twist is that what she believed was causing my migraines, intuitively, I disagreed with. So to make a long story slightly longer. I took the reins, did my research, I followed my gut, and I went with what felt right deep down for me, even if it contradicted her advice. So I chose to have my back, standing firm in what I believe to be true. And wouldn't you know, my migraines disappeared faster than my willpower in front of a plate of warm chocolate chip cookies. And I want to tell you something. I didn't change what she told me to change. So this victory felt better for me, almost better than me taking off my bra at the end of the day. And I know you know how that feels, ladies. I know you know how that feels. I know I'm kind of throwing a lot at you right now, but here's the deal. This is the work. Processing pain, shifting negative thinking, nurturing your self-worth, gaining more confidence, and building that internal safety that you need for healthier relationships and having a kick-ass life. That's the work. And I'm not just like throwing this out there and just saying like, okay, good luck with that. I've got a program for it. The Rekindle Your Life program. And it's launching in February, and I am so excited about it. So to check out the link, go into the show notes and you can get on the waiting list and snag an awesome deal for when it launches in February. So make sure you check that out. But before you go program shopping, I want to do something right now, because if you know me, you know that I'm all about taking action. Positive change and healing really only happens when you do the work. So I would love for you, if you're driving, don't do it now. If people are around you and they're annoying you, wait until they're out of your hair. Find a quiet few minutes at some point. Come back and listen to this. Grab a pen, and I want you to write the answers to these questions. Where are you experiencing loss in your life right now? Where are you not taking responsibility, or where are you taking on too much responsibility? Have you ever felt abandoned in your life, and by whom? And remember, it doesn't have to be the big traumatic exits, right? Or a death or a divorce. It could be those little tiny moments where you felt left out, or you felt like you weren't accepted for being your true self. You know, like, who hasn't felt invisible as a kid at some point, right? So we all have big and little traumas, or maybe just like a lot of little traumas, but there's still trauma and there's still feelings of abandonment, and it's still a wound. So where have you felt abandoned in your life? And who did this to you, or who made you feel that way? And this isn't about blame. And I'm not going to ask you to like go and confront them, but it's about having the awareness for yourself so you can work through this yourself. They don't need to be involved in your healing. What scares the bejesus out of you about showing up as your true self? Flawed, imperfect, all of it. What scares you about that? Who do you think is going to reject you or not love you? Where do you not feel good enough? What boundaries do you need to set? And with whom? Okay, so I've given you a lot to think about. I've given you a lot to do. I would love for you to do it. Feel free to reach out to me. You can private message me on Facebook or Instagram. It's Carly Cooper on Facebook, at Coach Carly on Instagram. And let me know. Let's have a conversation. I would be very curious to hear where you felt abandoned in your life, because I think it's pretty safe to say that we all have this wound to some degree. So you are not alone. Anyway, this is the journey of self-discovery. We want to break the cycle of self-abandonment. So please answer these questions and be the most reliable person to yourself. It starts with you. You have to stop abandoning yourself and build trust that you have your back. Trust me, it's like giving yourself the ultimate makeover. Okay, that's all for now. Until next time, bye for now. All right, my friends, thank you so much for listening to this So That Just Happened podcast. I really hope you found value in this episode. and that you're walking away with at least one golden nugget that you can implement or feel inspired by. I would be so grateful if you would share it with one friend or family member who is committed to moving forward and transforming their life. Make sure you subscribe so you can catch every new episode, and please leave me a review. It would mean so much to me. Also, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at @CoachCarly. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.